Welcome to Yuvalay podcast. Today we have with us Mr. Dhvani Patel. He is an entrepreneur and founder of Rise Ventures. He specializes in life skill trainings and help individuals build career growth, habits, and leadership. He has over 18 years of experience in leading organizations like HCL and L&T and in three business ventures. Today we are going to talk about something very important, which is interview skills. You must have felt butterflies before an interview, sweaty palms, or what if I mess up feeling. Don't worry, we are here to resolve that. So today we'll walk you through 4 powerful questions that will help you to prepare and stand out in any interview. So let's start with the first one. What do interviewers exactly want?
All right. So, what I think is interviewers want three things from you as young professionals: learn, learn, and learn. So, what they want is clay that they can mold into any shape that they desire. See, they will train you once you enter the organization. They want the fruits of those trainings to bear fruit 2 years down the line. So, they want an attitude that is open to learning rather than changing the world at the very first moment you enter into an organization. All right. So they want characteristics such as humility, they want patience, they want us to apply the skills that we have learned not from a technical perspective but from a behavioral perspective. See, skills like time management, communication, they are taken for granted skills in the world today. They want to see competencies that will be required 5 to 10 years down the line. So you need to do your homework, you need to do your research. Go search for reports like World Economic Forum Future of Skills report. It's released every 2 years. So when you look at them, you come to know that how the world is actually moving forward, whether you are aware of what's happening in the world or not, and whether you are keeping pace with the skills required to lead in the world. The other very common things that have taken place in the last 5 years are you need to be ready to adapt to changes. So don't go in with the expectation of sticking to one form of skill that you have learned in your college time.
So since you mentioned do your homework, I've heard many people saying that. So what does interview preparation exactly look like?
That's a great question. Interview preparations need to take into factor two areas. The first is know yourself well. Be very self-aware. I'll simply put it like write a 1500-word essay on yourself. Yes, and that's not easy. The second thing that you prepare for is how to showcase your strengths. See, today is a world of marketing. So, using these raw words, we need to sell ourselves in a way. We need to be ready to showcase our strengths, not our weaknesses. So, it's not about listing down your strengths like verbs. We need to tell them what we have experienced in our life till date and how it has shaped creating our personality and the strengths that we have as on today.
So you talked about selling yourself or your strengths. So I guess it needs stories. So I have heard many students saying that we don't have any life stories. We have just studied or we have done a few projects. So how exactly these students create stories?
Again, a good question. What I mean by stories is two things. First and foremost, it is the experiences you have created in your life. And as a fresher, as a young professional, we can't quote any form of experience we have had in terms of our organizational skills, right? So, what these stories mean are the challenges you have faced, how you have overcome them, some accomplishments that you have gained in your life, and what led to or how did you work towards getting them. That process of 2 years compressed into a short story will mean a lot. You will not need to quote abilities like hardworking. It is that journey or that story that will allow them to see how did you work hard, how many hours a day did you put in, was there any strategy behind it, how consistent you were. So that story will allow the interviewer to evaluate whether you will continue the same work in the future as well. Because there's a statement that says that your future performance is a consequence of your past decisions and actions.
Yeah, that's right. So is there any particular method that we can share?
Definitely. And what we do is I'm going to share two things with all of us. The 5 stories that we need to prepare And how should we represent a story in front of the interviewer? So if you are watching this and you have a notebook and pen in your hand, you can write down these types of 5 stories that are available to be prepared. The first is an accomplishment story. The accomplishment tells the other person that you are capable of producing results. And what I mean by accomplishment story is your journey behind achieving that accomplishment. Now, not how that accomplishment actually made you feel, right? The second story would be a failure story. The interviewers want people who know what loss feels like and how you are going to overcome them. So don't stop at quoting a failure. You need to go on to share how or what steps you took later on to overcome that challenge, to overcome that failure. The third story you should be sharing is a leadership story. And I realize as freshers, not many students have a leadership experience. So, what kind of experiences can you share over here? You can share that you participated in Tech Fest as an organizer and you helped a team get their jobs done on time. So, such organizing experiences where you have led 2, 3, 4 people can count as leadership stories. The interviewers and the organizations that are going to have you do want to see how aspirational you are. So, can you lead a team in the future is on the books. The other story that you will share is a problem solving story. In the last 10 years, consistently, complex problem solving as a skill has been in the top 3 of all the list of skills available in the world. That is essentially what we are paid for, isn't it? To solve problems. So, how you have solved problems in your past can be quoted. The fifth story is learning stories. What aspects in your life have you taken, actively taken steps to constantly learn and experience the world around us, whether it's through books, whether it is through getting involved into some or the other kind of extracurriculars and projects, whether it is organizing events, any form of learning needs to be demonstrated.
So I'm sure everyone must have learned how to do this, but can you just share an example of exactly how to do it?
Definitely, yes. So let us go through a leadership story experience. I'll share my experience or my story in the form of a formula, which is known as a STAR formula. The STAR formula, the STAR stands for situation, task, action, and results. Now, when you package your story in this way, it becomes very compact, it becomes very meaningful, and it will not take a lot of time. Situation and task. So in my case, I was organizing Footprints event in 2006, and as part of that organizing, I led a team of 15 people. And the situation and task. The situation is Footprints is about to happen. The task is to lead the team of 15 people. The actions. Then I will enumerate that across a period of 2 months, which organizing activities took place. One team was sent out to get sponsorships. One team was set out to handle logistics. One team was on the ground to support all preparations taking place in the campus. And the fourth team was managing the huge music event that was going to happen on the grounds. So we go on to expand on the actions taken behind each. Uh, if I wish to change tracks in between, I can include a challenge story, a problem solving story. For example, there was an electronics event in which there was a racetrack to be created, and it was made of plywood. And the night before the event, rains made the ply warp, and we had to, me personally and 2 others, we had to rush to the carpenters, get a new one prepared in a very short period of time. It changed the rules a bit, so we troubleshooted on the spot in changing the rules. And the last part of the formula, which is results, tell us what we achieved out of this. So, in the result, it's the event that was planned well, executed well. We got a lot of appreciation from the chief guest. Nobody came to know about the change of layout in the game. And those who did appreciated us troubleshooting this so fast on the spot. So that can be referenced, the results can be referenced in terms of appreciation, it can be referenced in terms of solving a challenge, it can be referenced in terms of how you overcame a failure. So alternate actions and alternate results, alternate consequences. So when we share such a story, it will not take more than a minute to share to the other person. And in this entire story, you did not need to label out any particular competency. Through your actions, the other person has already understood what you are capable of, what you bring to the table, how you are going to add value to the organization.
I think now we all know how to sell our stories. So till now, we all learned what to do for an interview. So now let's flip the point. What not to do in an interview?
Fantastic. Some things get you selected, and some things get you rejected, eliminated. That this is not a person that we need to take in our organization. I think the first most important thing that might get you eliminated is when you don't bring a good culture fit to the table. They are constantly assessing whether your personality will merge with the culture of the organization. What determines culture? The company values, the company competencies. Every company lists it on their website. As a student, we are supposed to do our homework well. Even before the interview, we are supposed to prepare the resume in such a way that our stories, our accomplishments reflect their values that they've already listed on the website. So the homework part that I bring up here again is you go through the organization, you go through the job description, you create an entire resume that is crafted for that specific JD and for that specific organization. That is the level of depth that they are expecting, right? They want to see you know the organization. So when they ask you questions like, why did you select us? And we answer answers like, oh, you have a great brand image. So they see very clearly that you are here to take value from the organization, not give value to the organization. So that gets you eliminated. Some basic challenges that otherwise take place is you show some form of rigidity in terms of not being adaptable enough to move across the organization. You show inclination towards a particular area as a fresher. If you are an experienced candidate, of course, you are applying for a very specific position, and that answer doesn't apply for laterals. The other basic things that get us eliminated is if you are not comfortable with English, let them know. They are okay with interviewing you in vernacular languages if they find you talented enough in the specific skill that they want. As I mentioned before, they are ready to train you. They want an open attitude. They want us to communicate well in terms of basic etiquettes, basic ethics, right? Uh, um, I'll give you a very short example. The very first thing that happens between two people is an introduction, and we introduce ourselves as myself, Dhvani. And this vernacular introduction is grammatically wrong from an English perspective. So one basic thing that we can take care of is you introduce yourself as I am Dhvani as an identity, or my name is Dhvani. All right. Such basic things matter. The other thing that gets us eliminated, and if done well, can get us selected as well, is not hurrying to answer a question. Listen to the question completely. Pause for 4 seconds. In your mind, you calculate 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000. It's known as a 4000 rule. These 4 seconds enable the mind to do plenty of things. It sifts through various possible answers, eliminates all the silly ones, and represents the best answer that can appear from you. The other thing is it lets the interviewer know you are thinking cautiously before answering. You are not in a hurry, and they appreciate that you are taking time to think it through. That is a skill that they want. Yes, at worst, if you are handling a stress interview, this 4000 rule will break the stress pattern entirely. It will break the momentum of the interviewer, right? I have had so many students come up to me after their interviews were done and said that this 4000 rule got them selected. As in, the interviewer even appreciated that you were thinking through the questions, and we really appreciate that about you. So it's a very powerful thing to do. But if you don't think through, if you interrupt the interviewer might think, I have not even completed my question, and there was a twist at the end, and that might get us eliminated. The last and the most powerful aspect of what not to do is never reveal your weaknesses in the form of behavioral weaknesses. What do I mean by that? Say I'm interviewing a student and I'm asking them, what's your weakness? And the student says, मुझको गुस्सा बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है. I get angry very soon. Or I am temperamental. Or I'm not a very patient person. Versus another answer that I'm not good at English, I'm working on it, and I will learn it eventually. Yes? So from these two answers, one is a skill based answer, communication skills. The second is a behavior based answer, anger or temperament. Which one will the organization invest in correcting? The organization will not invest in correcting either, but they know by yourself you can learn communication skills, you can learn English tomorrow. And they know behavior, sanskar, which we call in India, that stands true for a long period of time because it has taken years and years to build. So that is not something they will enter into correcting. If they see that there are these issues, they would tend to reject you rather than select you.
Now, based on these answers, I think we all have a list of things that we should do and should not do before an interview.
Yeah.
So it was a really great interaction with you.
Thank you.
I think many of us learned a lot from you. So thank you so much for giving us time and being here.
Thank you so much, Prathma. Glad to be here. And Yuvalay community, I'm sure using these techniques, you will do well in your future. All the
best to
best.
all.
Thank you.